The Sunbeam Safari Zoo, a day of wonder. The moment Mila and her brother Theo stepped into the Sunbeam Safari Zoo, they knew something was different. The air felt warm and buzzed with a gentle hum. Everything sparkled. It felt like the whole zoo was waking up just for them. Suddenly, they heard a loud, friendly voice call out from behind a giant golden rock. It was Lenny, the laughing lion. I traded my roar for laughs, he declared proudly. Much more fun. After his giggling welcome, he pointed them down a path that began to glow with a soft, inviting light. Mila, Theo, and their new friends Leo and Chloe followed the sparkling trail, their hearts thumping with excitement. They felt like true explorers on a magical quest. As they ventured deeper into the jungle, a tiny top hat suddenly dropped from the branches above them. A magician's job, Max the monkey magician explained with a wink, is to make ordinary things extraordinary. He bowed and the butterfly fruits dissolved into sparkles, leaving the children eager to see what other wonders the zoo held. Their journey led them to a quiet pond where Ellie the elephant greeted them. She dipped her long trunk into the glowing water. Good timing, she said softly, but you have to watch closely. It feels like running through the sky, Mila shouted, laughing as the colorful mist tickled her face. Theo tried to catch the droplets, but they popped into tiny stars before he could touch them. This zoo was more magical than they could have ever imagined. At the edge of the savannah, they met Zara, the official crossing guard. I'm Zara, the Silly Walk zebra, she announced, and nobody crosses this path without performing the Silly Walk. Everyone joined in. Mila hopped, Theo wiggled, and their new friends Ben and Sophie twisted and twirled. With every silly step, the path lit up brighter, until the whole savannah was filled with laughter and a rainbow of light. From way up high on Gilly the giraffe's back, they could see everything. The glowing paths, the shimmering trees, and Ellie's rainbow fountain. It was more beautiful than anything they had ever seen. It's like the whole zoo is alive, Mila whispered in wonder. That's because it is, Gilly replied softly. The zoo wakes up for visitors who believe in magic. As Mila and Theo left, they knew they would never forget the day the Sunbeam Safari Zoo woke up just for them.
Welcome to my learning site. Today we will discuss about healthy eating for kids. Why healthy eating matters. Healthy eating gives children the energy, focus, and strength to grow and play. Choosing the right foods helps your body function optimally every day. Benefits of fruits and vegetables. Fruits and vegetables are rich in vitamins, minerals, and fiber. Eating a variety of colors every day helps your body stay healthy. See these 3 tips. 1. Eat different colors. 2. Fresh is best. 3. Try new fruits and veggies. Whole grains for long-lasting energy. Whole grains, such as oatmeal, popcorn, brown rice, and whole wheat pasta, give your body energy that lasts all day. They help you stay full longer and keep your tummy happy. Let's follow these rules. 1. Keeps you full longer. 2. Gives steady energy. 3. Better for your health. Healthy fats. Healthy fats from nuts, seeds, avocados, and fish help your brain grow and work well. Drink water every day. We need to drink water every day. Water keeps your body hydrated and helps every part of you work properly. At least drink 6-8 glasses a day. Healthy snacks. Healthy snacks give you extra energy between meals. Pick snacks like fruit, yogurt, or nuts instead of chips and candy to keep your body strong. Family mealtime. Eating together helps you make better food choices and enjoy your meals more. It's also a great time to share stories and laugh together. Healthy eating can be exciting. Make your plate colorful, turn fruit into fun shapes, and try cooking simple recipes together at home. Thank you.
The man who made a dream come true. Ms. Amara gathered her students. Today, she said, her voice a warm whisper, we will meet a man whose courage built a nation. She held up a book that pulsed with a gentle light. But this was no ordinary storybook. It was a doorway through time. As Miss Amar opened it, the world around them melted away into a whirlwind of magic, carrying them back to city of long ago. They found themselves in old Karachi, where they saw a boy named Muhammad Ali Jinnah. He was quiet and loved to learn, and believed that truth was the strongest thing in the world. He dreamed of helping his people, but to gain the wisdom he needed, he would have to travel far from home, to a grand and challenging city, across the sea, to London to study law. The city was huge and unfamiliar, but his determination never faded. He studied day and night, growing into a brilliant lawyer known for his calm voice and powerful arguments. When he returned home, now known as Quries, he saw that his people were treated unfairly. Their voices were not heard. The dream of helping them now felt like a mountain to climb. How could one man's words possibly stand against such power? But doubt did not live in his heart for long. He would not use anger or force. He would use something far stronger: wisdom, truth, and an unshakable belief in a new home for his people. He would create Pakistan. He traveled tirelessly, his words igniting hope in millions of hearts. They called him Quaid-Azam, the great leader. Even as illness weakened his body, he refused to rest. But the final struggle would be his greatest test of all. There were moments when the dream seemed impossible, lost in arguments and delays. The weight of millions of hopes felt impossibly heavy, and the path to freedom was shrouded in dark time and doubt. So was there any way to acknowledge this kind of... But his work, his truth, and his unwavering belief finally broke through. On the midnight of August 14th, 1947, a new nation was born on the world map: Pakistan. The magical light faded, leaving the children in their classroom, their hearts full. They understood that Quaid-e-Azam's story of hard work, truth, and unity was not just history, it was a promise for their own future.
Sophia and the Talking Books Room. Sophia loved stories more than anything. Every book was a secret door to a new adventure, a world she could hold in her hands. She thought she knew all the magical places books could take her, but she was about to discover a place she never imagined. One rainy afternoon, a new path appeared. It led to a mysterious old building with a sign that whispered of magic. Sophia's heart beat with curiosity. She knew, without a doubt, that she had to see what was inside. The moment she stepped inside, the books began to whisper. "Welcome!" boomed a cheerful voice from a book called Pirates of the Seven Seas. Sophia laughed, her world suddenly bigger and more wonderful than ever. But just as she settled in to listen, a huge clap of thunder shook the building, and everything went dark. The door was locked. A shiver of fear ran down Sophia's spine. She was trapped. But before she could panic, a tiny, desperate voice cried out from the back of the room. "Oh no! My story is broken!" Sophia found a beautiful golden book, The Magical Adventure. It was trembling with sadness. "My most important chapter is gone," it wailed. "Without it, my story can never be complete." Sophia knew she had to help, but how could she find one lost page in this enormous library all by herself? Suddenly, she wasn't alone. A pirate, a knight, and a fairy emerged from their own stories, ready to join her quest. "We will help you," they declared. With her new friends by her side, Sophia felt a surge of hope. Their mission had begun. The team searched everywhere. Sir Cedric was strong, Captain Bella was clever, and Luna could fly. "I see it," Luna tripped, pointing to a page stuck high in a ceiling fan. Sophia had an idea. If her friends could come out of books, maybe she could do something magical too. With a sprinkle of fairy dust from Luna, Sophia floated up and retrieved the page. But when she brought it down, their hearts sank. It was completely blank. The words were gone. It seemed their quest had failed. Sophia wouldn't give up. "The words are just lost, not gone forever," she declared. "We have to believe in the story." Together, they closed their eyes and wished with all their might for the words to come home. Could their belief truly be strong enough? And it was. Magical, glowing letters swirled through the air and settled onto the page, rewriting the lost chapter. The story was whole again. Sophia smiled, surrounded by her new friends. She had not only saved a story, she had become part of one. Iqbal and the Windy Eagle. Shaheen the eagle dreamed of soaring among the highest peaks. He longed to feel the sun on his wings and see the whole world stretch out below him. But whenever the wind began to stir, a shiver of fear would run through him. One day, as Shaheen watched the clouds with a heavy heart, a kind voice spoke. "A great spirit like yours shouldn't be bound to the ground." Shaheen looked up to see a man with wise eyes and a warm smile. The man introduced himself as Iqbal. He saw the doubt in Shaheen's eyes. "Fear is just a story you tell yourself," he said softly. "Let me tell you a different one. When I was a boy, my own name taught me a valuable lesson." Iqbal recounted how he once arrived late to class. Instead of making an excuse, he cleverly noted that Iqbal, which means success, always arrives a little late. This taught him that seeing a problem from a new angle can turn it into a strength. Shaheen, filled with a spark of courage from the story, took a brave leap, but the wind was not a puzzle of words. It was a brute force that tossed him aside like a dry leaf. He lay in the dirt, his pride aching more than his wing. Was Iqbal wrong? "I have love for those youngsters who pull the stars down," Iqbal said, his voice full of passion. He explained that failure is not falling down, but refusing to aim high again. The goal wasn't just to fly, but to reach for the impossible. Shaheen understood. The wind was not his enemy, it was his partner. He climbed to a higher cliff, feeling the air, watching its patterns. He would not fight it, he would use it. But as he gathered his courage, the sky itself began to turn against him. A monstrous storm, black and raging, swallowed the sky. This wasn't a wind, it was a gale that could tear mountains apart. All of Shaheen's newfound bravery dissolved into pure terror. This was the end. He was simply too small. Then he remembered Iqbal's final lesson. The strongest winds blow only to make you fly higher. With a cry of defiance, Shaheen didn't fight the storm. He joined it. He tilted his wings and let the gale's fury become his own strength, lifting him up, up, up. He broke through the clouds into the peaceful, sunlit sky. The storm that had tried to destroy him had instead lifted him to a height he had never imagined. Shaheen was no longer afraid, for he knew that every challenge was just an invitation to fly higher.
How to make right decisions. Decide and review. Choose action and learn. Evaluate options. Compare risks and benefits. Gather information. Collect relevant facts. Define goal. Clarify desired outcome. Guided by wisdom and knowledge. Swipe to unlock the framework for clear, impactful choices. Words of a wise king. Even in ancient times, the weight of a decision was understood. Let these words guide your journey. A king's true power lies not in his crown, but in the wisdom of his choices, for a single decision can shape the fate of nations. Anonymous Wise King. 6 pillars of wise decision-making. Clarity of purpose. Gathering information. Know what outcome you are aiming for before evaluating options. Base your decisions on facts and knowledge, not assumptions or fleeting emotions. Considering consequences. Seeking advice. Analyze the short-term and long-term ripple effects of each potential choice. Consult trusted mentors or experts to gain perspective and expose blind spots. Trusting intuition. Reflecting before acting. Value the synthesis of your accumulated experience, your inner sense of rightness. Allow space for stillness to process the options before committing to action. Wisdom from a master storyteller. It is not the strength of the body that counts, but the strength of the spirit. J.R.R. Tolkien. In decision-making, strength of will and clarity of purpose are far more valuable than mere power or emotional reaction. Cultivate inner resilience. Wisdom from a scholar of enlightenment. The greatest evil that can befall man is that he should come to think ill of knowledge. Al-Ghazali. A truly wise decision stems from knowledge, deep understanding, and quiet reflection. Avoid the twin pitfalls of ignorance and hasty action. Seek the light of learning. Your 7-step decision framework. Define your goal. What is the single most important outcome you need to achieve? Gather information. Collect facts, data, and perspectives relevant to the choice. List all options. Brainstorm every viable alternative, even non-obvious ones. Weigh pros and cons. Systematically assess the trade-offs for each option. Seek external wisdom. Consult experience, faith, or those who have faced similar choices. Reflect and pause. Step back and let your rational and intuitive mind process the data. Decide with confidence. Commit fully to the chosen path, acting with humility and resolve. The balance of action. He who hesitates is lost, but he who rushes is ruined. Right decisions are born from wisdom, patience, and knowledge. Your goal is to balance courage with caution and reason with faith. Share this post to guide others toward thoughtful choices, or tag someone who needs this framework. Stress management. Geraldine Killebrew, Sophie Jones, Emily Kaiser. Students will demonstrate the ability to practice health-enhancing behaviors and avoid or reduce health risks. True or false? Stress is the #1 health concern among high school students. True or false? True. Appetite changes are not a symptom of stress. True or false? False. Depression and anxiety are linked to stress. True or false? True. 25% of people have trouble sleeping because of stress. True or false? False. 48% of people have trouble sleeping due to stress. Money, work, and relationships are all causes of stress. True or false? True. What is stress? Stress. The feeling of being overwhelmed or unable to cope with mental or emotional pressure. What does stress look like? Stress looks different for everyone, and everyone deals with stress differently. Becoming easily frustrated, agitated, or moody, feeling overwhelmed, having difficulty relaxing and easing your mind, low self-esteem and depression, avoiding others, change in eating habits, emotional symptoms of stress, low energy, headaches, upset stomach, chest pain and rapid heartbeat, insomnia, nervousness and shaking, physical symptoms of stress, constant worrying, racing thoughts, inability to focus, poor judgment, cognitive symptoms of stress, procrastinating, eating too much or too little, increased use of alcohol, drugs, or cigarettes, exhibiting more nervous behaviors, nail biting, fidgeting, pacing, behavioral symptoms of stress. Stressors, stressor, N. Any event, force, or condition that results in physical or emotional stress. Stressors may be internal or external forces that require adjustment or coping strategies on the part of the affected individual. Problems with friends/family, homework, extracurriculars, work/financial troubles, death of a loved one, unsafe living environment, common stressors in everyday life. Coping mechanisms. Coping. N. The use of cognitive and behavioral strategies to manage the demands of a situation when these are appraised as taxing or exceeding one's resources, or to reduce the negative emotions and conflict caused by stress. Resilience. physical health issues, mental health issues, healthier and happier, importance of coping, how to cope, healthy coping, unhealthy coping, cooking, cleaning, yoga, aggression, isolating yourself from others, procrastination, drained, unable to meet constant demands, exhaustion, burnout. When was a time you experienced burnout? How could you personally avoid or reduce your chance of burnout? Avoiding burnout. Welcome to my learning site, Cultural Sensitivity and Inclusivity. As online platforms work with people from two or more different cultural backgrounds at the same time, it is important to promote effective communication among employees and employers. Communication in all facets has many implications and potential barriers, as it includes both verbal and nonverbal methods of expressing meaning or emotion. Within the workplace, internal communication is the biggest challenge since the most persistent problems often occur when we believe ourselves to be culturally sensitive when the reality is that we live in a state of constant ethnocentrism. Challenges to effective communication. The main barrier in verbal communication is the language, in which language differences themselves are not the only problem, but also the understanding that it is the responsibility of both parties to learn enough of the other language to communicate with others. It is equally important to be clear, concise, and avoid idioms that could cause misinterpretation of the message or could even be offensive to another person. Challenges to effective communication. These misconceptions or offenses usually occur in nonverbal communication because even though there are emblematic gestures, gesture of peace, thumb up, etc., these can mean different things in different cultures and we don't inherently know the connotation. Another important issue is personal space. In Latin American, it is common for conversation to happen with a fairly short distance between people, unlike North American culture, where personal space is of greater importance. Challenges to effective communication. Another important factor to consider when implementing effective communication within the organization is that employees must have a clear vision or the way the organization works, a clear description of each job position and what is expected of each employee. To accomplish this, the most important thing is to first ensure that senior managers adequately understand the project goals and expectations. This creates unity and consistency among team members. Challenges to effective communication. Similarly, it is crucial to 1. Train all employees consistently regardless of rank or hierarchical level. 2. Encourage teamwork and pride in the outcome of a project. 3. Organize regular staff meetings to enhance communication. Tools for effective internal communication in a bicultural environment. Posters. An inexpensive and effective resource. The information must be clear so it can be seen from a distance and include pictures/graphics. Posters should be bilingual and located in places that receive the most traffic in the company. Employee manual. The advantage of such a manual is that the mission statement and vision of the organization as well as company policies can be incorporated into a single document. Newsletter. A company newsletter creates a constant flow of communication. Cost can be reduced if it is sent electronically to employees who request it. Developmental model of intercultural sensitivity. The first stage defines ethnocentrism as the attitude or point of view by which the world is analyzed according to the parameters of our own culture. It often involves the belief that one's own ethnic group is the most important, or that some or all aspects of our culture are superior to those of other cultures. The stages of ethnocentrism are denial, recognizing cultural differences perceived by the naked eye, schedules, holidays, food, dress, etc., but denying deeper intrinsic differences. Defense, criticizing other cultures with negative or derogatory terms as a result of feeling threatened, which leads to negative stereotypes, prejudices, and discriminatory attitudes. Minimization, thinking that values and behavior are universal principles and are equal to one's own. The second stage is ethno-relativism, a learned skill, where a person consciously recognizes values and behaviors as a cultural matter rather than a universal one. The stages of ethno-relativism are acceptance, recognizing that cultural differences must be respected in order to improve interactions. We may not agree with a specific cultural practice or difference, but we respect a coworker's values. Adaptation, to be able to change a cultural outlook or behavior, which improves understanding and communication in different cultural contexts. Integration, an effort to integrate different cultural elements and feel comfortable with multicultural situations. Aspect of business etiquette, Western cultures, Asian cultures, Middle Eastern cultures. Greetings, firm handshake, direct eye contact. Bowing, light handshake with two hands. Japan, China, handshake with the right hand. Light grip, no direct eye contact with the opposite gender. Decision-making, quick, individualistic, data-driven. Consensus-driven, time-consuming. Hierarchical, leader-driven. Business attire, business suits, formal but less conservative. Formal and conservative, dark suits, ties. Conservative, often dictated by cultural or religious norms. Gift-giving, less common, may be viewed as bribery. Common, expected in some contexts, culturally specific. Common, avoid alcohol or anything seen as offensive. Use of time, punctuality is crucial, time is money. Punctuality is respected, but relationships matter more. Time is flexible, emphasis on relationships over strict schedules. Communication style, direct, straightforward, focus on content. Indirect, focus on context and nonverbal cues. Indirect, respect and politeness are paramount. Case study, embracing cultural diversity. A case study of Apple incorporate its management of its multicultural workforce. Apple faced some tough challenges with cultural differences among its employees, leading to issues like discrimination, prejudice, and language barriers in the workplace. These problems made it hard for employees to work well together and affected their productivity. To tackle these issues, what were the steps Apple took? Response. Apple's immediate strategic steps included cultural sensitivity training, implementing training programs to educate employees about different cultures and promote inclusivity, adaptation of leadership styles, encouraging leaders to adapt their management styles to be more culturally aware and responsive, policy development, creating and enforcing policies that support diversity and inclusion, ensuring fair treatment for all employees. Long-term programs. Apple's long-term strategies focused on sustaining and enhancing its diversity management, evolving management practices, continuously updating management approaches to align with the evolving cultural landscape, ongoing training programs, establishing a culture of continuous learning with regular training sessions on cross-cultural communication and collaboration, employee resource groups, ERGs supporting ERGs to provide a platform for employees from different cultural backgrounds to share their experiences and support each other.
Welcome to my learning site. In this lecture, we will learn about listening skills, active listening and comprehension. Types of listeners: detached listener, involved listener, passive listener, active listener. Listening challenges: physical distractions, noise from the environment, like background chatter or an office setting, can make it hard to focus on the speaker. Example, in a remote meeting, a student might struggle to concentrate on a client's instructions because of a noisy home environment. Venus is the second planet from the Sun. Build trust. Mercury is the closest planet to the Sun. Ask specific questions. Jupiter is a gas giant and the biggest planet. Demonstrate concern. Face the person. Listening challenges. Mental distractions. Your mind might wander, either due to fatigue, preoccupation with other tasks, or lack of interest in the topic. Example, while listening to a webinar on SEO strategies, a student might start thinking about other assignments, causing them to miss important details. Venus is the second planet from the Sun. Build trust. Mercury is the closest planet to the Sun. Ask specific questions. Jupiter is a gas giant and the biggest planet. Demonstrate concern. Face the person. Listening challenges. Bias and prejudices. Preconceived opinions about a speaker or the subject matter can affect how you listen to and interpret information. Example,
A student may dismiss a client's feedback about their project if they have already formed a negative opinion of the client. Venus is the second planet from the Sun. Build trust. Mercury is the closest planet to the Sun. Ask specific questions. Jupiter is a gas giant and the biggest planet. Demonstrate concern. Face the person. Listening challenges. Information overload. Sometimes, there is too much information to process at once, leading to confusion or difficulty in understanding the core message. Example: during a digital marketing training session, a participant might feel overwhelmed by the numerous strategies being introduced in a short time. Venus is the second planet from the Sun. Build trust. Mercury is the closest planet to the Sun. Ask specific questions. Jupiter is a gas giant and the biggest planet. Demonstrate concern. Face the person. Listening challenges. Poor listening habits. Some individuals tend to interrupt or finish other sentences, which prevents full comprehension of the message being conveyed. Example: in a team meeting, a colleague interrupts others, making it harder to follow the conversation and impacting group collaboration. Venus is the second planet from the Sun. Build trust. Mercury is the closest planet to the Sun. Ask specific questions. Jupiter is a gas giant and the biggest planet. Demonstrate concern. Face the person. Types of listening. Passive listening or appreciative listening, oral reading, theater, music. Active listening. Discriminative listening, distinguishing sounds, phonemes, and nonverbal cues. Informational or precise listening, finding details, retelling, sequencing. Strategic listening, finding the main idea, summarizing, inferring. Critical listening, analyzing, synthesizing, evaluating. Listening statistics. Time people spend communicating. 75%. Time people spend listening. 55%. Remembering what they hear. 25%. Using different listening styles. 40%. Passive listener. Active listener. Hear without trying to understand. Try to understand the message. Doesn't engage in the conversation. Show signs of listening. Is easily distracted. Pay full attention. Active listening is focused, intentional, voluntary. Listening response strategies. Empathy. Show understanding of the speaker's feelings or situation. Example: I can understand why you feel frustrated with the delays. We'll work to get things back on track as quickly as possible. Listening response strategies. Feedback loops. Check in with the speaker to make sure you've understood them correctly. Example: just to confirm, you're saying that we should prioritize organic traffic before focusing on paid ads, correct? Listening response strategies. Summarization. Summarize the key points or action items discussed to ensure mutual understanding. Example: to recap, you want us to develop a content calendar for the next quarter, focusing on blog posts and social media engagement. We'll need approval on the themes by next Tuesday. Listening response strategies. Clarification questions. If unsure, ask clarifying questions to ensure accuracy in understanding. Example: could you clarify what you meant by organic growth strategy? Are we talking about content marketing or something else? Characteristics of an active listener. Is self-motivated. Is open-minded. Actively participates. Connects. Reflects on information.
Communication barriers. Internal, external, language barrier, environmental barriers, semantic barrier, technological barriers, gender biasness, cultural barriers, perceptual differences, inappropriate body language, social and emotional detachment, improper feedback, mental and physical disability, restricted environment, lack of interest, unethical communication practices, personal fears, monopoly of speech, information overload, poor listening skills. Cultural barriers. Have you ever been in that awkward situation where you were going in for a hug, but the other person just wanted to shake your hand? Apart from the embarrassment, have you ever wondered why the two of you were expecting different ways to greet each other? Every culture has its own set of accepted behaviors, thoughts, rules, standards, and beliefs that are accepted. These factors make up part of a culture's identity. How one communicates is also affected by their culture. Therefore, it varies among people from different cultural backgrounds. Therefore, when people from different cultures interact, there is bound to be miscommunication because of cultural barriers. Definition of cultural barriers: ethnocentrism, stereotypes, xenophobia, psychological barriers, language barriers, geographical distance, conflicting values, cultural barriersto communication. Ethnocentrism, the belief that one's culture is superior to another's. It makes a person feel that only their way of doing things is right. Ethnocentric people look down on people from other cultures, making them feel undervalued. It hinders conversations between people as they would not be comfortable with each other holding a conversation. Ethnocentrism can be a conscious act or unintentional. Xenophobia. Xenophobia is dislike, hatred, or fear of outsiders. This can manifest as hostility toward immigrants, but it can also manifest as hatred toward members of another tribe, culture, or religion. A person does not have to actually be from another place or culture to become a target for xenophobia. Stereotypes. People have preconceived notions about others based on their nationalities. It is the belief that people from a country or region will behave a certain way. But people tend to forget that every individual is different and may not or will not behave the way we would expect them to, based on our limited knowledge and judgments. Stereotyping a person can be insulting and unhealthy in a working environment. The person can feel unfairly judged, making them unnecessarily conscious. Such situations also act as communication barriers. Psychological barriers. When dealing with a multicultural team, we might have to mend our ways to accommodate everyone and help them feel welcome. While in some cultures maintaining eye contact is considered a positive sign of cooperation, in some, it is considered intimidating. Considering such instances are crucial to making everyone feel understood, encouraging them to converse. Even though sometimes it could mean having to change how we would subconsciously react to a situation. Language barriers. Not being able to fluently speak and understand a team's language can be frustrating. The ones that cannot understand might feel like they are missing out on things. Not being able to communicate well in a foreign language can also make them feel different and make them hesitant to participate in conversations or voice their opinions. In such cases, the native speakers must make it a point to communicate in a manner that accommodates the non-native speakers. It involves talking slower and using more recognizable words instead of local slang. Geographical distance. Although the increasing possibility of working from home has made working more convenient, it comes with challenges. Building a connection within the team becomes strenuous when the members are only connected virtually. The employees only meet during team meetings and discuss their goals and objectives. It hinders them from getting to know their coworkers personally, thereby preventing them from sharing more information or communicating. Conflicting values. Everybody has their way of doing things. Communication between people can become strenuous when one's values and practices are disturbed. For example, certain countries address issues directly and offer solutions to fix them. On the other hand, companies in other countries address them through an indirect form of communication. When people from such cultures get together, communication can be tricky. The person who communicates directly may come off as insensitive, and the person used to indirect interaction may seem unclear to people from the other culture. Conflicting values. Likewise, some cultures are strictly formal in workplaces while some are not. Countries like India and Japan consider formality as a sign of professionalism, whereas countries like Australia prefer more informal workplaces. An Indian employee working for an Australian company might consider communicating more informally. Similarly, an Australian should communicate formally to seem more professional. Cultural barriers in the workplace. In today's workplace, it is not uncommon to have people from various cultures working together. It will therefore give rise to many uncomfortable situations or misunderstandings due to people's cultural differences. A few common instances where people in the workplace experience cultural barriers can be in their differences in greeting each other, making eye contact, being punctual, dress code, and so on. In some cultures, people greet with a hug, while others extend a firm handshake. While people in Britain might consider maintaining eye contact as a sign to intimidate them, people in South Africa maintain eye contact throughout their meetings to let others know they are paying attention. In most Asian countries, employees dress formally as a sign of professionalism, whereas certain European countries encourage a more informal dress code. Employees from countries like Singapore do not enjoy a well-balanced life inside and outside work. They must respond to work calls even after work hours. It would cause problems if the same were expected from a European employee. Certain countries such as China, Korea, and Arab countries heavily rely on their set nonverbal cues of communication. A person's body language and tone will be observed and judged. It means that one should be aware of their actions and behavior. Such cultures are known as high-context cultures. On the other hand, countries such as Germany, Switzerland, and Britain are known as low-context cultures. Such countries rely on a direct form of communication. They communicate precisely and explicitly. Examples of cultural barriers to communication. Coming from different cultures can make it difficult for people to understand each other and interpret the messages correctly. As a result of cultural differences, some examples of cultural barriers to communication in the workplace can be: employees communicate and interact following their culture without considering the cultural differences of the employee from another culture. Employees with cultural differences can find it difficult to express their disagreements with employees from other cultures. Perception of personal space varies among cultures. Expressing ideas and solutions can be difficult. Negotiating techniques vary in every culture. Different cultures employ different techniques to evaluate their employees. Learn about different cultures. Accommodate cultural differences. Clear communication. Diversity training. Knowledge sharing. Solutions.
Welcome to my learning site. Today we learn the importance of English in e-commerce, freelancing, and entrepreneurship. 1. Message production. 2. Message interpretation. 3. Interaction coordination. 1. Message production. Message production refers to the creation of content, ideas, or information to be shared with others. In a professional setting, this can include emails, proposals, marketing content, product descriptions, and more. Why English is essential. 1. Global reach. English serves as the global language of business. As an example, platforms like Amazon, eBay, and Shopify are primarily in English, allowing sellers from various countries to market and sell their products to a worldwide audience. Example: a freelance graphic designer in Pakistan creates a proposal in English for an international client in the US. The ability to communicate clearly in English ensures the proposal is professional and easily understood. Professionalism. Clear and concise communication builds trust with clients and customers. A website with error-free English text, for example, builds confidence among buyers. Conversely, poorly written content might give the impression of a less reliable business. Example: an e-commerce platform for fashion in Spain writes product descriptions in English. Customers in the US or UK are more likely to trust the site if the language is professional and free of grammatical errors. 3. Message interpretation. Message interpretation is the process of receiving and understanding the content shared by others. Effective interpretation ensures that messages are accurately understood and responded to. Why English is essential. Clarity in communication. Misunderstanding instructions, feedback, or details in a project could lead to errors or missed opportunities. Customer service. In e-commerce, interpreting customer reviews, complaints, and feedback is essential for improving products and services. Example: a US-based online store sells skincare products internationally. A customer from the UK leaves feedback, saying that a product caused irritation. Understanding the feedback in English allows the store to respond with an apology and offer a refund, ensuring customer satisfaction. I will share with you this link in description for best understanding of customer service. Cross-cultural understanding. Misinterpretation can arise from cultural differences in communication. Knowing how to interpret cultural cues in language, e.g., politeness, directness, can prevent misunderstandings. Example: in an email exchange between a US entrepreneur and a Japanese client, the Japanese client uses indirect language to reject an idea. An American business owner might misinterpret the rejection as a mere suggestion, leading to a lack of follow-up or action. Understanding cultural norms can help. 3. Interaction coordination. Interaction coordination involves managing and facilitating communication between people, ensuring it flows smoothly and is effective. Why English is essential. Professional collaboration. Freelancers and entrepreneurs often collaborate with remote teams or clients. Effective English communication ensures that everyone is on the same page, regardless of location. Example: a digital marketing agency in Brazil collaborates with a client in Germany on an SEO strategy. Emails, meetings, and shared documents are all in English, enabling both parties to understand the project goals and timelines. Networking. English allows entrepreneurs to network with professionals globally. Platforms like LinkedIn, Upwork, and Fiverr offer an international network where English is typically the common language for interaction. Example: a freelance writer from Egypt connects with a US-based publisher on LinkedIn, exchanging project ideas and negotiating fees in English, which helps secure an international contract. Global marketplace. E-commerce businesses must coordinate logistics, customer service, and marketing in English to cater to global customers and suppliers. Example: an online retailer selling handmade coffee mugs in India communicates with a US-based shipping company in English to ensure timely deliveries and efficient logistics. Step-by-step flow of online order fulfillment, warehouse processing, packaging, shipping, real-time tracking, and final delivery. Get in touch for more English learning content.